All right, welcome back. We are gonna do another Fischer Najdorf guess the move type game. Let's figure out what game we want to play. Ooh, here's one against Geller. Oh, but Fischer loses. I'm looking for Fischer wins. I didn't know Fischer ever lost a game, so that's good to know. All right, let's see. Here's one in 1968. It's only 20 moves. Let's do this one. This one should be entertaining. Okay, there is a problem. We have to not look at all when it pops up. Daniel, what's up, my friend? Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we got. So if Fischer's going to play e4, I think we pretty clearly know the answer is c5. I mean, that's just a given. Okay, so we're going to play c5. And we're just going to play the Najdorf moves. d6, takes, knight takes, a6. Oh, that's unfortunate. I forgot. Okay, so I got to learn these echo codes. I did not want to see a bishop g5 line. Just because I don't want to do a poison pawn. But it's only 20 moves, so whatever. We talked about this last time. e6 or e5? You guys tell me. What is the answer against bishop g5? What are we supposed to do? And why? It's one thing to memorize. It's another to understand why we are doing it. All right. Let's see. Hopefully in a second here, someone will postulate which one we're doing and why. All right. Daniel says e6, but he's not sure why. Fair enough. He wasn't here last time. Okay. The answer is e6. And this is the reason. It really all revolves around the square d5. So, in the line where the bishop is already hitting the knight, if we were to just throw e5 on, d5 is pretty weak, but you might say, well, that's fine, the knight's covering it. But then they can just take the knight, and then suddenly they can drop this knight in here, and it's pretty reasonable. It just really weakens the d5 square a lot. So against this particular line, we end up just playing e6, so it doesn't get so weak. That's at least my understanding. If someone here knows better, they can certainly let me know. I've seen it, I just don't know analysis. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so this is the main line. And then we go here, bishop b7 to get in the way. And now is the big moment. Do we play the poison pawn or not? I'm hoping the answer is not. And if the answer is not, I think we play the knight here to d7. Unfortunate. Fischer goes for the poison pawn. Fischer usually went for the poison pawn back then. It was sort of considered the most testing line. So white's, activating their queen, and black takes the poison pawn, of course. They attack our queen. We have limited options, right? We're going here. And then they castle. So now it gets more interesting. Let's see, maybe Richter browser is with knight c6. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know the Richter browser. My Sicilian theory is very minimal and pretty much confined to the Najdorf. And even then, pretty minimal. I'm just kind of parroting the theory and the knowledge I have, which is not that extensive. Okay, so I don't really know the poison pawn. We're up a pawn. Like, that's pretty good. I like being up a pawn. I guess the question I'm wrestling with is I feel like it's supposed to be very theoretical, but last time we survived it without knowing any theory. I had no problems, but also it didn't seem like they went after the queen at all. They just kind of were like, all right, I'm giving you a free pawn, and then I'm going to play chess. And your queen's a little offside. So I guess here, I'm going to say, I think we probably just developed a knight. The queen is not in danger. The queen is not really about to be trapped that I see either. So let's just develop a piece. Okay. They push the F pawn. Okay. So we could take, of course. I don't think we would want to, though, right? They just take back with the rook, double the rook, and suddenly it seems like they have a whole lot of pressure really fast for nothing. If I let them take something similar... Oh, what? I don't understand what's happening. I didn't even move a piece. I moved their piece. So I think what I want to do is push. Pushing seems like the way to go. Yes, we did say that we didn't want to give up the d5 square, but it just seemed like it was right. Apparently this is the theoretical move. Oh no, my move was the theory move. Okay, so my move was theory, and the knight move is what he played in the game. Okay, we gotta turn hints off. Didn't realize they were on. Okay. So that knight looks pretty good. What do we want to do? We could still try to capture this pawn. I don't... Oh, yeah. I think... Well, now we can't push by, which seems weird that we have taken that away from ourselves. What did our opponent play? They played... Oh, they played king over. Okay. Very standard move to get safe with a king. Run away and knight e5 you like. Okay. You like castle here. I think castle here is very reasonable. I'm looking at what about e takes f5. Like the question I'm wrestling with is, do we want to let them take? Actually, I think we probably do, right? We can just take with our bishop on e6. It's helping cover d5. It's covering f7. So yeah, I think I like castle here. Seems like a good idea. I don't think we need to threaten the castle short. I don't think that's in our as a reality for us. Okay, so they're attacking the queen. So then the question becomes, what is the direction of the queen? Is it like here, there? Is it here? How are we retreating with the queen? It looks like there's really only two choices, a5 and c5. I'm just trying to decide if either is better for some reason. I guess if we go to c5, they can attack with a knight on a4. If we go to a5 right away, they don't have an immediate attack. We are pinning the knight to the queen, although maybe it's a reverse discovery. I don't know. I think I like queen a5 better. Both queen c5 and a5 look similar. I agree they look similar, but yeah, I think I like a5 better. Woo! Engine says it's a straight up error. That is very interesting because the knight is coming into d5, and that was kind of the worry, right? Where it was like, okay, is it a counter threat? Because if we take their queen, they can take here with check. How are they getting their queen back, though? That's a little bit unclear. What? What am I missing here? So go a5. The reason is bad is because knight d5, which is threatening to take a piece with check. Cool, but we get their queen. So we take their queen. They take our bishop with check. We move. And then we're winning? I'm lost on that one. Bishop defends the queen. Bishop does defend the queen. Jeez. Okay. So I was going to do this stream at 4 today, and I was like, no, I'm too tired from a long day of work. I don't have the energy. I'll wait till later. And apparently it's still a disaster. Okay. So there was a big difference between a5 and c5. We need to go this way. I mean, we have a choice here. We could take with the pawn. It doesn't seem like a hard choice to me. I feel like we take with the bishop, and that feels obvious to me. Yeah, I can't imagine that we take with the pawn here, but I'm not good at imagining that. Okay, so knight a4, continuing to chase our queen. Running out of choices. Looks like our choices now are c7 or a7. c7 looks like a completely reasonable spot for our queen. a7 looks like a bizarro spot. Like if we're on c7, I could see, you know, like b5, pushing the knight away, bishop b7, rook c8, doubling on the c file. Like, it just feels obvious. Yeah, like you said, Daniel, they weren't that similar, and Daniel agrees. Woo! It's a big mistake because of knight b6. What? Knight b6 hits the rook, which is admittedly annoying. We move our rook over to b8, and now it's knight threatening. Seemingly nothing. I don't get it. How? We might have to go back afterwards and see why that's bad, because it was truly terrible. It was like game over. And it seems like queen a7 would lead to the same issues, so definitely curious what is happening here. There's no other choices that I can see. So we have to go to a7? Yeah, no. Still a horrible move. What? There's no other squares. What? Okay, every square I'm looking at. No. So no. No. So I can't move the queen, but either of those moves is death. What? Okay, so Daniel's saying knight c4, we will counter-attack their queen. I guess that has to be it. So they move the queen, and now, like, a reason why I didn't like this is because now our knight is hanging, and our queen is hanging. I mean, we do have e5 now to attack their queen, but we have two pieces hanging. This just seems terrible. So let's say we attack their queen, they take our queen, we take their queen, and then they take our knight, and then we're down a piece. Huh? What's happening? Oh, I guess their knight is now hanging. I didn't realize that. So I guess we are taking the knight, but I think they're going to take our knight so they can force their knight into b6. But then I guess their bishop hangs. So it's like... Wait, what are we? Are we even? So we take the knight. They take our knight. We take back. Then they go into b6, forking us. Huh. I still think we do queen takes knight. We gotta preserve the queen, right? At least knight, yeah, but temporarily covering that square. Okay. There's this discovery here. Doesn't do anything. I think we drop back and offer a queen trade. We're just up a piece right now. So we offer the queen trade. Queen takes, pawn takes, knight can't go into b6. This just looks like a disaster to me. This may be why this game is only 20 moves. They're just down a piece. Okay, it feels like white has nothing. I guess we should be aware that white can play rook g3, but our bishop is covering it. I don't know, b5 seems like a perfectly fine idea. Now the knight can't go to b6. It gets kicked back. We develop our bishop. We're up a piece. Oh, okay. The computer's like, no, that's wrong because the knight can go to c3 right where you said it was going to go. Okay. Apparently that's the wrong idea. Looks like a great move to me. I suppose we could go to b6 to go bishop b7. I don't love that, though. I don't know. we're just up a piece. It feels like any move should be fine. I'm gonna do bishop d7 threatening the knight, though probably it's gonna say that's still bad because that's where the knight's going. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. Okay, so the rook is gonna move over and causes some problems. Okay. I don't know what to say anymore. Yeah, I just don't know what to do here then. I'll say b6. Okay, the knight goes there. Knight here. Nope. Jeez. Okay. I don't know. E takes f5. Okay. I was looking at that. I didn't like it, but okay. E takes f5. Let's do it. And then you said, and then knight d3 fork. What happens if you play queen a5? Yeah, queen a5 seems fine too. It seems like every move is fine, so I don't quite get this. Looking at knight e3 fork. Oh, yeah, that's a great move. Knight e3 fork is probably the game-winning move. Yep, that ends it entirely. Poor Vinkovici. That game did not go well. Let's take a look at it. What did we learn from this game? So we learned, we're reinforced that e6 is the right move there. Poison pawn is certainly, especially in this time period, really the normal move. I'm going to turn on the engine here if I can remember how. Here we go. Let's check. It is not available. Okay. Maybe it's already on. No, it's not on. Why is the engine unavailable? Let me see. Maybe I have too many Chessbase windows open. I'm bad at this. So this one. Okay, so I got this one open. I've got this one open. And this one open. These are all from last time. Okay, so maybe this will. Oh, did I shut our game? Looks like I shut our game. Oh, the person's name was Matov. The place was Vinkovici. Okay, my bad. So yeah, we can turn on the engine now. I'll quickly take a look at this. Okay, so we did the poison pawn. Poison pawn is going. Everything's even. And knight e5 is actually the engine's #1 move, even though apparently theory is actually to push forward. But they're all equal. Everything is just zeros. Okay, that was a bad move apparently, which is pretty shocking, right? That like moving the king to safety is the bad move. Really creative knight c4 move keeps the advantage. Yep, the poison pawn variation, black needs to play super accurately. Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Yeah, so I think the point is by moving over with the king, black really needs to try to bully black at least somewhat for this whole poison pawn thing. If they just move their king, I think the point is like, okay, well then you didn't punish me at all. Cool. I just got a free pawn. So instead, they moved over. Castles. What's going on here? Man, I really don't understand Chessbase well. Okay, is the engine back on? I can't figure out how to keep the engine on. What is happening? I'm not good at this. Okay, seems like it should be good. There we go. Now it's back. All right. Yep. So queen c5 keeps the lead, and now black is just up a whole pawn and more. Now black is crushing with that knight c4 move that you saw. Yeah. So without knight c4, I don't think black is crushing, right? That was just a really strong move. It's not even showing me another move. So like something like this is much worse. Like black's fine, black's up a pawn, but there's really only the one move to win. This queen a5 is very common tactic in Sicilians. Remember this important take-home point. Okay, so we're saying the important take-home point is queen a5 win. Like right here? Are you saying here with the different discoveries? That's the take-home? Or you're just saying in some spots it would have been good. I am Kian. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Queen a5 would have been a blunder. Yeah. Queen a5 would have definitely been a blunder. And I didn't see that. I really thought this was a good move. It's not a good move. Oh, right. We saw because the queen's being attacked and the bishop's being attacked with checks, so we have to lose something. Actually, it says it's equal. Oh, right, because we can just run away and back up the bishop, and then basically we have an extra pawn, but all our pieces are pushed back, all of their pieces are amazing, and we don't look so good. Okay. Okay. I don't know that there's much else we need to see from this game. That knight c4 move was just a really great move, right? It's kind of like tactics. That's what we keep talking about. That wins a piece, and then every move after this is kind of irrelevant. The game is over. That's what I'm saying. It's very important to take home point. I've seen this theme in my own games. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking for, is what's the takeaway each game. And so I think you're right. I think for this, it's that queen a5 thing looked good, but it wasn't. I had almost something exactly like that in my game today. Not the same spot, but I did a cool tactic on my opponent I thought won the game, and then they did a counter tactic that won the game. And I was like, wait, what? That really turned around on me in a hurry. Okay, well, because that game was so short, we're going to do another one. We're going to purposely not do a B97 one. Here's a 93. I don't remember what 93 is. It's only 26 moves. Seems like a good choice. Put it immediately on the training. No hints. And here we go. Zach Davis, happy to be joining you for some late night analysis. Well, welcome to the party, man. Good to have you. All right. Well, since this is a Najdorf stream, we're gonna make Najdorf moves. What is happening here? I don't even know this move. I guess it's fine. It's still covering everything, and our opponent's just like, I don't know, just in the move to move my knight to a weird square. Okay, what? And I think I'm gonna say this 1,000 times in these games. Boy, white can play anything here on move 6, and it's just so, as the Najdorf player, it's so disconcerting of how many moves white has. So what's important to note about this move is we cannot play b5 now, like basically ever, right? They've just taken that move away from us. And while we played our waiting move of a6, they almost played a stronger waiting move. The one downside is it does really weaken the square b4. So maybe there's some world where our knight hops around into b4. And because of that, I probably want to put my knight on c6 instead of sort of the normal d7 Najdorf square. But what I'm really torn on is, I feel like I probably want to move this pawn, and it's the eternal question, is it d6 or d5? And I feel like with a4, we don't have as much knowledge to know which one we should play. Foxy played a training game with this theme against me. Interesting. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna play e5 here, but like cringing a bit. Like I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea. Yeah, and Fischer's like, why would we commit our pawn to e5 when they could just immediately respond bishop g5? Let's make a different move that's not as committal. And I was thinking about that, but I was like, I think I want my knight here, but I'm not positive. I definitely don't want move my bishop because it usually goes here. I can't move this bishop, so I'm kind of stuck. But this is a perfectly sensible move. Oftentimes we move our queen to c7 anyway. It's not committal. We learn, and now we learn after bishop d3 that e5 should be totally fine. What? g6? What is happening? How is this even a Najdorf? Have we moved into like a dragon? This is mind-boggling. Okay. Well, I mean, we're gonna fianchetto, right? We pushed g6. Are we really not gonna fianchetto? Okay, moving their knight again, which looks very weird to me. I would think you would want the queen on f3. So I'm a little surprised by that, but maybe they're going to do the typical bishop e3, queen d2 kind of maneuvers. I guess I'm going to castle. No, a4 indicates white is not castling queen side. That is a good point, I think. I don't know, though, because a lot of times, even in these castling long scenarios, a4 does get played. So it's not like... I don't think it rules it out. I would fear less h4, h5. Good point, Daniel. I don't know. I'm not sure I agree, Daniel. I think your point makes sense, but there's a lot of games where they do that. All right, but we are both castling king side. So now it does seem like they're probably not doing the standard, you know, whatever I don't remember the name of the attack, where they put the queen on like e3 and the bishop and try to back it all up and just come in and mate you. I guess it's bishop e3, queen d2. So we're just playing. I don't know how to play this setup specifically, so I'm just going to try to find reasonable looking moves. I still think knight c6 is where we want to go here, and I don't see any reason not to play it now. Seems like a fine move. Chessbase is telling me that's actually the theoretical move, but it's not what Fischer did, which seems weird to me. This hole is just begging to be played into. I'm just kind of surprised. White moves the king over, not too shocking. We see this in a lot of Sicilians, them getting their king safe. No shenanigans like queen c5 check, double attacking something. Here's where I would love to play b5. I think I'm going to play b6 and fianchetto the bishop. Unless maybe here knight c5. Like if we're going to put... I don't think we want to put out a knight on d7 unless we have a plan. And I think maybe the plan is c5. Yeah, that's basically my nickname is better than Fischer. Yeah, that's what most people say. I think that assuming a queenside castling variation is possible, a queen sack with b5 to open either the b file or a file could be crazy. I agree. I think it would lead to a very wild game. I think knight c5 is the move here. It allows our bishop to come out on this other diagonal. b6 is kind of weakening. I don't love it. This just seems like a good spot for the knight. Okay. Engine says my move is fine. Moved b6. Okay. I mean, that was my first thought, but I just thought we found something better. I'm thinking bishop b6, but I want to look at their move, right? They move the queen to e1. So are they looking to force through e5? How would that work? So let's calculate. So e5, I would assume we're taking. They take back. Our knight goes... kind of looks like e8. Which I don't love. If instead we just move our knight to e8 immediately, they could take, we could take back with the knight. Our knight would be pretty well placed on d6. If they don't take, and they push the other pawn, can they do that? No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't think we have to take, though. I think we can play bishop b7 and I don't think e5 is that horrible for us. Also, I'm not really sure how to prevent it other than playing like knight e8 first. Okay, you think he's intending queen h4. That's important to look at. Queen h4. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And then they can follow up with f5 and bishop h6. But even with all of that, I don't know. I think bishop b7 is still fine. Let's see. Okay, so we're both right. Bishop b7 seems fine, but queen h4 does seem like a really good move. Yeah, nice find, Daniel. I think that shows one of the differences between us. You are much better at identifying opponent resources. It's one of my biggest weaknesses is that I really don't do a great job spotting my opponent's best move. It's just not that, and it's a really bad thing not to be good at. All right, I kind of like the idea of knight c5, both hitting their bishop and giving an escape for our knight. If they decide to push e5, our knight can come back to d7. I guess the only question is, like, is f5 scary? Like, they come down with the bishop, they take, we take, the knight hops into g5. That looks a little bit much. If we play knight c5 and they play f5 and we just take their bishop and they take back, do we play knight e5 or does that not work because they take, then we have these really ugly looking pawns? I like knight c5, but I'm not fully convinced it works great. But all right, Zach says e5. I mean, e5 might work. I like the idea of keeping our pawns kind of solid here, especially being attacked. I think we should try to get rid of this bishop. It looks frustrating. Ooh, that's such a weird move. Huh. I don't really get rook c8. This is not like we're threatening c2. The bishop's covering it. And it's not... I don't know. That seems like an odd move to me. Alright, I still think the bishop move is our best move. Sorry, not the bishop move, the knight move. Okay. The engine says this was the best move in the position. But Zach... Fischer likes your idea. Let's go e5. Let's make this interesting. I hate e5 personally. Not a fan. What is the point of e5? Now playing knight c5 doesn't look as good to me because they can take, we take, and it just looks like, I don't know, it just looks like they have quite a big attack for no reason, but maybe they don't. We would be on their isolated pawn 3 times. They would be defending it 4 times somehow, which is shocking. They can play at any moment. No, never mind. I was thinking they could play knight g5 threatening mate. The knight is still there guarding it. I'm not sure. I still am looking at knight c5, but I'm becoming less happy with our position. Maybe d5. d5. Yeah, d5 looks terrible just at a glance, but we should calculate. If d5 and they take onto e5 and we take them, forking them, but then they can take with the knight, and maybe we take back on e5 with our knight. It seems fine. I'm not sure. Zach, just because I suggested it doesn't mean I love it. Just have to such a forced counterplay with this frustrating dragon setup. Yeah, I don't even understand why he willingly went into the dragon. I'm going to say this again. I just have really fallen in love with this move. It says my move is okay. Instead, took the pawn with the pawn, bringing every one of their pieces into the attack. What? What are we doing here? This looks like madness to me. Okay. Actually need to make sure my child is going to sleep while you guys see what you can find here. Stay out of your room tonight, but tomorrow I'll come in, okay? Good night. Okay, I'm back. Let's see what you guys came up with. I don't get it. Knight a5 now, I would think. Is knight h5 possible? Now we're on to e7, a weakness. Knight h5. I don't like knight h5 because, and this is without calculation. Maybe with calculation my mind would change. But without calculation, I feel like g4 would drop in with tempo, knock the knight away. I don't know if g4 is good. It just feels like it should be good, but maybe it's not. What was the other suggestion? Knight e5. Knight e5. Yeah, knight e5 looks fine also. I don't love any of these moves, but it looks fine. Knight e5, if they were to take and we take back, it's kind of annoying. Like our bishop on g7 is just perpetually looking at e5. Makes it a pretty bad bishop, at least temporarily. But that bishop seems like one of their biggest threats and attackers. It might be nice having it off the board. What I'm a little bit worried about is something like bishop moves, knight g5. Oh, I was thinking exchange sack on f6, but we have the other knight there to back it up. Which makes it even less appealing for me to move it. I don't know what to do here. If this was my game, I would be really struggling right now. Which makes sense, because I don't play the dragon. I never have. I would be kind of like, wait, how did I get in a dragon? What is happening? g4 drops the bishop. How does g4 drop the bishop? I don't see how g4 drops the bishop. Queen's not hitting it currently. Are we saying with some sort of discovery move? I don't know. I don't see how g4 drops the bishop. Okay. f6 knight is covering h7, and d5, I don't want to move that knight. Yes, I'm in agreement. I think the f6 knight is critical, and I kind of think the d7 knight needs to stay guarding that knight. So what about something lame like rook e8 to just try to make white figure out how they're breaking through? I don't think this is a great move. The engine says that move is fine. No, it says it's the best move in the position. Look at me go. All the best moves. Okay, but he went with knight e5. Seems like that was a suggestion. Okay. I don't know that I want to take the bishop and bring the queen in. I'm kind of fine if they take, I take back. Doesn't look quite as problematic to me. I'm a bit tempted to say here, I think I kind of want to take their knight on f3 with mine, because that's the thing I'm kind of worried about. They will take with the rook, though. Then they can double the rook. They've taken off our bishop. That knight becomes very weak on f6. But do we even need that knight anymore if the bishop's been traded off and the knight's been traded off? All unclear to me. Also, our knight's pretty well placed, so do I want to even trade it off? Okay, parenting things. All right, I'm gonna say we're gonna trade off the knight. Knight f6 could be tactically vulnerable. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, f6 wouldn't be tactical. Yeah, I think so. But I think if we take off this knight, it won't be too bad. All right, it says my move is okay. Better is to take. I'd never like to draw the queen in like this, but okay. Is there a way to pressure the queen now with like knight g4? Doesn't look like we're doing anything with that knight then. Again, I don't really know what to do. This position is kind of baffling me. I'm looking at maybe knight e8 to g7, sort of providing more stability to the position and just saying, I don't think you have anything to white. I also like the idea of trading off this knight on f3, which looks a little bit dangerous. But I think I like knight e8. Yeah, especially if we're worried it's a little bit vulnerable, which I agree with. Woo, that's a big mistake. We lose. Their knight comes in, threatens mate, which been talking about forever. Yeah, we're gonna get this knight out of here. Okay, that would have been a fine move. Oh, my first idea of knight g4 was actually good. That's interesting. It just looks a little bit loose. Not super loose. Like if they take our knight on e5, we just take back. If they try to push the knight away. Oh, actually if they play a3, what's the deal with the knight? Isn't it fully 100% trapped? I guess it's not, because we can meet that with knight f3 with the other knight attacking the queen, and then we can just drop the knight back. So, well, not to there. We'd have to drop it to e5. So I guess a3 doesn't win. I'm kind of looking at just like king g7, so that now some of these squares are backed up a little bit. I'm having a hard time finding something great. Queen d8 to go into an ending. Okay. Let's look at what we think of that ending. That ending looks fantastic for us, actually. I don't know about fantastic, but this bishop on d3 has a real problem because of their isolated pawn being right in the middle of their position. Our bishop is just so superior to their bishop. If we can find a way to sort of trade down to where that's the main feature, that could be very strong. But I wonder if we went queen d8, if they would just go like queen h3 and not be willing to trade into this ending. So it's a good question. I don't necessarily mind the offer. I kind of like king g7 best, though. White has... Oh, yeah, right. That's a good point. Queen g7... King g7 doesn't work very well because of knight g5. Well, no, because then we can play h6, right? If our king is up. So let's move the king up. I think this is a good starting move. Ooh, no, king g5 is too good. Interesting. I don't really know though. H5, I guess? H5 does not look like a good move to me. H6 perhaps, keeping the knight out. Our knight is guarding it, but then they play A3, and we're going to end up losing that pawn. This is why I liked King G7 so much. No, seems like H5. Okay, yeah, that's a great point. I've tried to take this knight 1,000 times, and now it is the right time. Okay, finally. Finally, I get to take the knight. Okay. Now we cannot go bishop d8. Our knight is actually hanging. I think we just bring the knight back to e5. It's now... I feel like once we bring our knight to e5, we can make the claim that our knight is better than their knight and our bishop is better than their bishop. Now our king is slightly more attacked, but I don't think they have enough pieces. Wow, my move is not the move. I really liked my move. I really don't like f5. I haven't liked a lot of Fischer's moves in this game. Interesting. So he's not threatening to take the knight. There's no shenanigans there. I'm also threatening to... Okay, another reason why I don't like f5 is it lets our opponent free up this bishop. This bishop was going to be struggling in any endgame, and now this bishop's going to come alive and be quite good. That doesn't make sense to me. We can't take on e4, or our piece hangs. We could play d5 with the discovery on the rook. They could just move over. Rook f1 and they're doubled, which seems pretty strong. But what if we play... I guess d takes e5 is really good. Okay, so what if we... Yeah, so that looks kind of winning. Does d5 win? Kind of looks like d5 wins. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm missing a tactic here real quick, actually. If I play d5 and I take the rook... They can play a3. Our queen will be hanging, so we'll lose our rook, but we've won our rook. I mean, we would lose our knight, but we won a rook. So I think d5 looks pretty solid. Ah, there's a small problem. If we play d5, they can play e5. But at that point, I think we just take e5. So, I don't know. d5 seems good. Knight f2, check gets out of it. Yeah, true. Alright, we're going to do it. I think this is right. I think it just wins. Okay. I think this just wins. Taking here feels like game. I don't see something here. So... the move I think I'm looking at most is rook f4 followed by rook f8 followed by... That's a lot of pressure on that king. Another move... I don't think I love d takes e4, bringing everything in my opponent's position to life. I don't necessarily mind d4 though. d4 seems fine. I could see myself playing rook f4 first, then d4. Although then maybe the knight goes back to e2. So I guess to me the question is, am I playing d4 first or rook f4 first? Where's the queen go after rook f4, I guess is the question. It could go to g3, making some uncomfortable stuff. I think I like d4. Rook e8 pins. Wait, there's queen e6. Check. Do we care? Ooh, that's a really good point. And you like rook e8, which pins the e pawn. Ah, yeah, I like that a lot too. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, it feels like we don't want them to be able to take. Rook e6 both stops the taking and prevents that check, which I don't think is very bad, but still it penetrates our position a bit. which rook? I think the C rook. Okay, that is the best engine move, but Fischer went with my move. So I guess I'm not better than Fischer. I'm just the same as Fischer. I guess I'll have to accept that. I feel like we really want to play rook f8 now. Though maybe rook e8 still is fine. Let's see, is there any tactics with rook f8? With like check, takes, check, bishop takes. Doesn't seem like it. But it ties the bishop to that square still. But then they can just take. I don't like that the queen is so tied to the rook, and if I move my rook, then the queen, there's discoveries or pins. I don't know, it's all making me a little nervous. I'm kind of looking at queen f7. And then if they took, could we do something totally wild like rook takes c3, b takes c3, bishop takes d5? And then, yeah, we gave back the exchange, but their pawns are like a complete disaster. And are we up a pawn at that point? No. So, yeah, those are two things I'm looking at. I think I'd play d4 here, though. Rook f8 gets into ending. Rook e8 is okay. I think rook e8 is okay, too. I'm going to play d4. d4 is bad because they just bring the knight back. I already saw that. I saw all that. Okay. We'll go with Daniel's move next. Daniel's move, they don't love because they take that, which does not look like it would work, right? Oh, the queen is backing up the rook now. That's the key there. That's a big change. All right. I'm going to do this idea. It's kind of madness. Okay, I guess we're just taking. And we're just trading down a bit. I think we would take here. Why not? They take. We can't take the pawn with our queen. I think we almost have to go queen f7 now. Yeah. Queen f7 allows us to take on c2 with the rook. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I think there's plenty of decent moves. Oh, okay. That is not a great move because of h3. Okay. I really don't think we're taking this pawn and giving up our rook. I guess we could double rooks. Maybe that's a better idea. We double rooks, and then the queen infiltrates on c2. Okay. Engine likes that. What? This is game. Huh? Okay. I mean, I was looking at this. And then this didn't seem to work. Right? Our queen's in danger. What? I don't know. Okay, unfortunately we got dinged for that extra move I made with the rook. But we did pretty well. We made a couple losing mistakes. Again, I don't know how to see what our losing mistakes were. That would be really nice. That's some research I'm going to have to do. And we missed the one tactical move. Where was the? I didn't even remember there was a tactical move. Huh. Okay. I don't know. Let's look at the notation. Well, I want to see the end here. So it was like this. Takes, rook takes, game over. Why? I don't understand how. Like, I understand black's position is better. Yes, I get The engine says this is a draw. Oh my god. What is with Fischer's opponents all resigning in drawn positions? I feel like they are like fighting Mike Tyson or something. They're resigning before they get punched too hard. I don't... Okay, wait. So the move here is rook takes c2. Yes. Oh, okay. So the idea is like we're threatening mate and we're threatening the rook, but why can't they just drop the rook back and defend? Okay, they lose another pawn, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Another possible move the engine gives is rook e6. Right, because you could still come back and defend. I don't know. The engine says this is even. So Fischer's opponent did not think so. He was just like, I mean, this is 1970, so by this time Fischer he's reached like God status. And, you know, I guess when you reach God status, then people resign to you in positions where you're like, what? In fact, this dude is up a pawn. All this does is make it even. The game's even. I don't even know what to say. Okay, well, let's go back through the game real quick. I think we did pretty well. Okay, I forgot about this. What is happening? I'm going to bring open the openings book. Okay, so Queen C7 here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th most common move, which is very intriguing. The number one move is E5. That was the move I tried to do. I guess the question is, after E5, can they play Bishop G5 and punish us? Well, the answer is no, because we're threatening their knight. What am I even talking about? What I meant was after this. Oops. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. New variation. And then, I don't know. Say this. Can they now play Bishop G5 and punish us? Doesn't look like it. Okay. All right. So he played Queen C7, which was a very unusual move, pretty far down the list. And then G6 is not even in the database, which is weird since it's in a Fischer game. So yeah, that's just a weird move. Now, it's not a bad move, but now we're in like a whole different type of opening. So very strange decision on his part to just steer things into a whole new realm. Especially since it feels like he thinks the dragon is bad. So, I don't know. My mind is blown by this one. I've never seen this game, and it's a weird one. Okay, so he moves. Just improving moves. And yeah, this felt like a big thrust into the center. Is this some other Fischer? Oh. What a great question. I don't believe it is. This is Robert James Fischer in 1970. And it's in the archive of all the Robert James Fischer games. So I believe it is the one and only Robert James Fischer. Alright, so the engine does not like this move. The engine likes plenty of moves. E5, the engine's like, what? But our opponent makes a bad move. Does seem like this would have been the obvious move. That's why I didn't want to make the move. Now it just seems like they have this ready-made attack for no reason whatsoever, and things just look like they're getting kind of bad. All right, Fischer's opponent didn't do that. His opponent just kind of loaded up on the file, giving Fischer the chance to take, and now the engine's like, this is basically even until this move. So here, number one move is the move I was coming up with, which was just kind of a waiting small improvement move. Second best move is to go here, threaten this bishop, and putting the knight in the center does not actually work according to the engine. It says that this is a 1.2 deficit, and that the answer is knight takes e5, D takes e5. And I imagine just dropping back. Oh, probably just bishop h6. No, bishop g5. This is hard to evaluate. When I evaluate this, I'm a little bit unsure. Like, their bishop on d3 is bad. Their knight's not doing that much. Perhaps it does get to jump into d5 because doesn't our knight have to move? It's being attacked 3 times. Where's a good spot for our knight? Seems forced to go over here. And then, yeah, the engine likes jumping in here, and this does seem like it's kind of getting away from white, or from black. And if black resolves this knight by taking here, well, then suddenly this bishop I was complaining about so much looks great. Right? Now it's like, oh my goodness. The white is doing very well. So yeah, so it seems like that was a pretty big mistake. Fischer's opponent didn't take advantage. And now Fischer's able to kind of fix everything. And another bad move. So I didn't like this move either. The engine says this is a really bad move. Yeah, not for that reason. Because just rip open the position. And then if here, which is the engine says is the best move, which looks terrible, that's how you know you're in trouble. And then this looks really bad. So this just feels like a weird game where Fischer did not seem to play as great as he can, and then his opponent didn't play well. Alright, so the e5 move was quite good, but I don't understand why they did the whole sack thing, right? Can't they just move back? And this does end up looking pretty good though for black. Like, I think this d5 move was a pretty great move. Was it the number one? Yes, it's the number one move easily. So this is basically the move that turns it around. And you know what? We got this move. I'm very happy about that. We basically found the move that turned the game around, which to me is good. That means we're really locked in and finding some good stuff. And then Fischer just gets into a drawn position, and then his opponent resigns because he's super generous. Yeah. Oh, could it be from a simul? That would make sense. Oh, you know what? It's a blitz event. I think it says Novi Blitz. That makes a lot more sense actually. Whoops, I don't want to do that. Let's open up the mega database again. Okay, I guess I need to pay more attention to this. This might have been a blitz match. So that would make a lot of sense of why he played such weird stuff. So yeah, that explains a lot. I don't think we should learn at all from this game. I don't think that's true, my friend. I think there's some stuff to learn here. I think some things to learn are, one, I think this move is fine, even if it's kind of deep into the tree. But I think it's really important that you don't have to play a whole nother opening. Like, you can just keep playing your Najdorf. This would be a totally fine move, and now you're just in the Najdorf. Like, if you're good enough, you can panic and play into random openings. But if you're me, just play your stuff. It will be fine. And then I think this is another takeaway. It's like these moves that were really weakening with the pawns are really dangerous, right? Like you really need to, this move especially, like this just violated my chess senses, right? I was like, maybe this is Fischer, right? So maybe tactically this is a great move, but just like chess sensibility wise, completely weakening your king, it just seems unnecessary, especially since whenever they want, they can play a3 and kick this knight anyway. So, I guess, though, this does give the knight a place to go. But still, I don't know. It just seemed like a terrible move to me. And then, yeah, we found the tactic, right? Tactic. So, like, Fischer's not doing well. Boom, he finds the tactic. Tactic wins the game. Like, that's another good takeaway, right? Like, tactics, hands down, win games that you think you're not winning. You just find the tactic and then you're winning. Or you're just even and then your opponent resigns. Because maybe, you know what? Maybe his opponent was out of time. When I said resigns, maybe his opponent ran out of time. Which would be really interesting because it was such a short game. But playing Fischer's hard. Okay. I think that is going to wrap it up for tonight. It was an interesting one. Next time I'll be a little more careful and not choose a blitz game. I did not realize I was choosing. I didn't even know there were any Fischer blitz games in the database. But I think it's kind of interesting to look at this one because it was a really weird game. And it's interesting to see Fischer, like at the height of his powers, playing really what I would call weird. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. All right. Well, I will see you all next time. And, have a great one, everybody.